10.
The igniters have been lit.
9, 8, 7, 6.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff at dawn. The dawn of Orion and a new era of American space exploration.
Listening to Our Next Giant Leap, a podcast that's out of this world. And now, here is your host, Mike Williams.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Our Next Giant Leap. I am your host, Mike Williams. Thank you for joining me today. This show is recorded live on TalkShoe every other Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time if you live in the U.S. For more information on how to listen in live, go to my website, mikewilliamsinc.wordpress.com, and click on the TalkShoe link. Today, I'm trying something new. Not only am I broadcasting the podcast live on TalkShoe, but it's also being recorded live on Ustream with video. So if you want to see a live video broadcast of the show, you can go to ustream.com and search for the channel Our Next Giant Leap. So I'm trying that out and we'll see how it goes. Named after one of the biggest constellations in the Milky Way galaxy and drawing from over 5 decades of spaceflight experience, Orion has proved a worthy spacecraft with its first test flight. Exploration Flight Test, or EFT-1, of Orion was completed on December 5, 2014, ushering in a new dawn of American space exploration. Orion began its life as part of the Constellation program, but the program was canceled in 2009. When NASA announced its new plans for deep space human exploration in 2011, like exploring a near-Earth asteroid and eventually Mars, new life was breathed into Orion. Orion is the first spacecraft built in over a generation to take humans farther out into space than ever before. It is a multi-purpose crew vehicle, or MPCV, which will be used as a backup for going to and from the International Space Station, and it will take humans to a near-Earth asteroid and eventually Mars. But the journey for Orion has just begun.
For all the unique, amazing achievements of the space shuttle, there are things the shuttle can never do.
The shuttle's been a fantastic vehicle for us. It's done things that no other vehicle can do, like carry aloft huge telescopes and pieces of the International Space Station. But with its wings and its reusability and its tail and so on, it can't leave low Earth orbit.
The shuttle cannot re-enter Earth's atmosphere at the speeds required for a return from deep space. And it cannot remain in space for much longer than 2 weeks at a time. NASA's next spacecraft, already being built and tested across America, will do those things and more.
This is the spacecraft that's going to take humans to explore the solar system. It's the next big step for NASA in exploration.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit for the first time in more than 40 years. These missions will take humans far away from Earth to explore distant asteroids, the moons of Mars, and other places in our solar system, beginning a new era of space exploration. Manufacturing and testing of the MPCV is well underway at facilities across the United States, and the spacecraft systems, ground support equipment, and launch facilities are already being developed. As NASA focuses on the construction of this new spacecraft and plans voyages into the solar system, NASA's commercial partners are developing private spacecraft to transport equipment, supplies, and crew members to the International Space Station.
Orion is a capsule. It's a more traditional kind of spacecraft, designed in the same way that Apollo was designed to do things beyond low Earth orbit.
The Orion multi-purpose crew vehicle will sustain a crew of 4 astronauts on missions that could last from 6 days for a lunar flyby mission to up to 900 days for deep space missions. These long-duration missions will require sophisticated life support and power systems that can endure the harsh environments of deep space and return the crew safely to Earth. The spacecraft includes both crew and service modules, a spacecraft adapter, and a revolutionary launch abort system that will significantly increase its safety. Based on lessons learned from 30 years of space shuttle operations, the MPCV's flexible design allows for upgrades as improvements in technology become available. This flexibility, as well as the unique life support, propulsion, thermal protection, and avionics systems, will enable continued innovation throughout the spacecraft's operational life. The Orion MPCV is the most advanced space vehicle ever built, incorporating technological advancements in electrical power, rocket engines, navigation and flight control, communications, and life support. The spacecraft's new launch abort system has already flown, performing flawlessly during a flight test high above the New Mexico desert. This all-new escape system would be used to pull the crew safely away from an accident during launch. Because of the extreme distances that will be traveled during a long-duration mission, the MPCV has an advanced communications and tracking system so that it can remain in communication with Earth. A return from deep space means that the MPCV will enter the atmosphere at higher speeds than a spacecraft returning from Earth orbit, exposing the vehicle to much higher temperatures. As the Orion MPCV and its crew return to Earth, the vehicle will be protected by the largest and most advanced heat shield ever developed. Components of a sophisticated new automated rendezvous and docking system for the next spacecraft have already been tested in space. The system was tried out with a special test rendezvous with the space station on the next-to-last flight of the Space Shuttle during the flight of Endeavour near the end of the STS-134 mission. Experience gained during flights of the shuttle and other NASA spacecraft also have led to innovations and advancements in the manufacturing of spacecraft components. Working alongside commercial companies to develop complementary systems allows NASA to focus on space exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
So they're complementary in that as the commercial plan works and relieves our cost need for supporting ISS, it gives more money for exploration. And exploration allows us to take the lessons we learned from the ISS support and apply it to long-term and exploration of the solar system.
The difference in missions means the spacecraft must have different designs. For Orion's long-duration missions, the crew must have more living space than the amount needed for a commercial spacecraft's short-duration mission. As a result, Orion's interior space is almost 40% larger than most commercial spacecraft designs that are in development. Orion also will have the capability to act as a backup for transporting cargo and crew to the space station in the unlikely event it is needed. With the Orion MPCV, NASA will extend human presence into the solar system as America once again voyages beyond the pull of Earth's gravity.
It's part of what we are. It's part of being human, I think, to go beyond what we understand, to push the boundaries. So it's another great step.
Every day that we design Orion, we get closer to going out to places like the Moon, Mars, asteroids, or perhaps even the moons of other planets.
As commercial partners design and build vehicles for transportation to low Earth orbit, NASA is now focusing on the vehicles and systems needed for the next generation of human space exploration. In factories and plants, in cities and towns across America, men and women are building the spacecraft that will allow humans to leave Earth and expand our knowledge of planets and moons and asteroids. For the first time in a generation, we will explore beyond Earth orbit. We will go places humans have never gone before. And the journey to get there has already begun.
A great piece of safety hardware that is being developed for the Orion spacecraft is the Launch Abort System, or LAS. In the event of an emergency on the launch pad or during ascent, the LAS will separate the crew module from the launch vehicle using a solid rocket launch abort motor. There's two other propulsion systems in the LAS, an attitude control motor and the jettison motor. The Launch Abort System has already gone through a series of tests, including flight tests to prove its readiness in case of an emergency at launch or during ascent. Orion has the biggest heat shield of its kind ever made. Here's Molly White to tell us a little bit more about Orion's thermal protection system.
Hi, my name is Molly White, and I'm a heat shield engineer for Orion. The Orion spacecraft is designed to go further than humans ever have before. And the further out you go, the faster you come back. And the faster you come back, the hotter you get. So Orion needs a really, really good heat shield to protect its crew from that really, really hot air that's going to be around it when it comes back. Why Orion needs a heat shield? If we think about friction, and I'm moving my hands past each other, just moving them pretty slowly, I can still feel heat build up between my hands. It gets hotter. Well, if we think about Orion, which is going 25 to 30 times the speed of sound, it has that same friction with the air, only it's going way faster than my hands can. So there's a lot of heat that is around Orion that it needs to be protected from. The heat shield for Orion, it's 16.5 feet in diameter. It's the largest, most innovative heat shield of its kind. The heat shield weighs about 1,000 pounds. The total vehicle mass is about 20,000 pounds. So it's about 1/20th the weight of Orion just for the heat shield itself. So Orion, for its first flight test, will see surface temperatures at around 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So we've developed new materials for Orion that can withstand those higher temperatures. The material for Orion is actually designed to withstand up to 6,000 degrees Fahrenheit. My favorite part of working on Orion is just the fantastic group of really, really smart people that I get to work with every day. They're excited and passionate, as I am, about taking humans further than we ever have before, bringing back all the technology and everything that we've developed out there back here to Earth just to improve our lives. And that's the thing that I get most excited about when coming to work.
So now is the question of the week. What is the Super Guppy? The Super Guppy is an aircraft that looks like a giant guppy fish and is owned and operated by NASA to carry payloads that need to be transported to and from different NASA centers around the country. Guppy aircraft were used in several past space programs, including Gemini, Apollo, and Skylab, to transport spacecraft components. The first Guppy aircraft was developed in 1962, designed specifically for NASA operations by Aerospace Lines of California. The Super Guppy has a cargo compartment that is 25 feet tall, 25 feet wide, and 111 feet long. It can carry a maximum payload of more than 26 tons. The aircraft has a unique hinged nose that can open more than 200 degrees, allowing large pieces of cargo to be loaded and unloaded from the front. Orion's next space test will take place in late 2017 or 2018 on that unmanned flight called Exploration Mission 1, or EM1. A different Orion space capsule, which is currently being developed by contractor Lockheed Martin, will cruise around the moon and come back to Earth after spending about a week in deep space. EM1 will mark the first test flight of NASA's new Space Launch System. EM1 will mark the first test flight of NASA's new Space Launch System, SLS, which agency officials say will be the most powerful booster ever built. Then, if all goes according to plan, SLS and Orion will fly together again on Exploration Mission 2, EM2, the first crew flight for both the capsule and the rocket. NASA wants EM2 to take astronauts out to visit a captured near-Earth asteroid that has been dragged into lunar orbit by a robotic probe. EM2 could blast off as soon as 2021. NASA aims to get people out to the captured asteroid by 2025 at the latest. There will be, as always, links to everything I talked about on the show today in the show notes. I want to thank everyone for joining me today, whether you joined in live on the phone, via computer, the live chat room, or you downloaded the show, or you watched it via Ustream. Our next episode will be Tuesday, February 16th, the Asteroid Redirect mission, entering the proving ground for our journey to Mars. It will air live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. on TalkShoe. For more information on how to join in live on TalkShoe or for all the show notes and links, go to my website, mikewilliamsinc.wordpress.com, and click on the podcast button. If you have any questions or comments, you could drop me a voicemail at 321-351-8539 or send me an email at mikewilliams573@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at our Next Giant LP. Have a great couple of weeks, and I'll see you next time on our Next Giant Leap. Bye, everybody.